You are not real. I know that sounds absurd. I know you can feel your body, touch your skin, sense your weight pressing against the chair. But what I'm about to tell you will fundamentally change how you think about existence itself. You are made of nothing. Literally nothing. The atoms that compose your body, the particles that make up every cell, every molecule, every structure you think of as solid matter, they are 99.9% empty space. But that's just the beginning. Because even that tiny fraction you think is something, even that microscopic core you imagine is solid, that's an illusion too. I'm Leonard Susskind, and after 50 years of working with quantum field theory, particle physics, and the deepest structures of reality, I can tell you with absolute certainty that matter, as you understand it, does not exist. You are not made of stuff. You are made of patterns, vibrations, information. And the implications of this fact are more profound and more disturbing than anything science fiction has ever imagined. Let me start with something you think you know. In school, that atoms have a nucleus made of protons and neutrons, surrounded by electrons orbiting like tiny planets. That picture is completely wrong. It's a useful lie we tell children because the truth is too strange to grasp without years of mathematical preparation. But you deserve to know the truth. And the truth is that the electron is not a tiny ball circling the nucleus. It's not circling anything. It's not even a particle in any sense you can understand. The electron is a probability cloud, a mathematical function, a wave of potential that exists in multiple locations simultaneously until something forces it to collapse into a definite position. When you're not looking at an electron, it doesn't have a location, it has probable locations. It exists in what physicists call a superposition state, spread out across space like a ghost that can't decide where to materialize. Think about what this means for your body. Right now, as you listen to this, the electrons in every atom of your body are not in definite positions. They are probability distributions. Quantum mechanical wave functions extending through space. The boundaries of your body, the edge where you end and the air begins, that's not a real boundary. It's a fuzzy, probabilistic zone where the wave functions of your electrons gradually fade into the wave functions of the surrounding environment. But it gets stranger, much stranger, because even those probabilities, those quantum wave functions, they're not really there either. They exist in what physicists call Hilbert space, an abstract mathematical realm that has no physical location. The particles that make up your body don't exist in the three-dimensional space you experience. They exist in an infinite dimensional mathematical space that projects shadows into our three-dimensional reality. And we haven't even talked about the nucleus yet. You think the protons and neutrons at the center of each atom are solid, real, substantial. They're not. Protons and neutrons are made of quarks, and quarks are held together by gluons. Physics gets truly bizarre. The quarks inside a proton are bound by forces so strong that you can never isolate them. If you try to pull a quark out of a proton, the energy you invest creates new quarks instead. It's as if the particles are made of pure relationship, pure interaction, with no underlying substance at all. But even quarks aren't the end of the story. In quantum field theory, particles are excitations of underlying fields. Think of a wave on the ocean. The wave isn't made of water in addition to the ocean. Is a pattern in the water, a temporary disturbance in the medium. Particles are like waves in quantum fields. An electron is an excitation of the electron field. A photon is an excitation of the electromagnetic field. A quark is an excitation of the quark field. So what is a field? This is where language starts to break down, because fields aren't made of anything. They're not substances. They're not materials. They're mathematical entities that assign numbers to every point in space and time. The electron field has a value at every location in the universe. Right now, where you're sitting, there's an electron field value. Next to you, there's a slightly different electron field value. The particle we call an electron is just a region where these field values are oscillating in a particular way. You are made of oscillations in abstract mathematical fields. Patterns of information encoded in structures that exist outside of physical space. Your entire body, every atom, every subatomic particle, is a collection of vibrations in fields that have no material substance whatsoever. You are music played by the universe on instruments that don't exist. Let me make this concrete with numbers because the numbers are staggering. If an atom were scaled up to the size of a football stadium, The nucleus would be smaller than a marble sitting at the center of the field. The electrons would be probability clouds filling the entire stadium, but with no definite location anywhere. The space between the nucleus and the electron clouds, the space that makes up 99.9% of the atom, that's not empty air. It's genuinely empty. Nothing. Void. Not even vacuum in the sense of empty space, because empty space itself is filled with quantum field fluctuations. And here's the thing that should keep you awake at night. That 99.9% emptiness, that's not wasted space. That emptiness is what gives atoms their size, their stability, their chemical properties. If atoms were actually solid, if they were packed with material substance, they would collapse immediately under electromagnetic forces. The emptiness isn't a flaw in atomic design. It's essential. The nothing is what makes the something possible. Your hand feels solid when you touch a table because the empty space in your atoms is interacting with the empty space in the table's atoms through electromagnetic forces between electron clouds that don't have definite positions. Solidity is an emergent property of interacting probability distributions. You never actually touch anything. The electrons in your hand and the electrons in the table repel each other through forces carried by virtual photons that pop in and out of existence in the quantum vacuum. This isn't philosophy. This isn't metaphor. This is measurable experimental physics. We've confirmed the quantum nature of matter in countless experiments. Every piece of technology around you, every computer chip, every LED light, every MRI machine works because we understand the quantum mechanical nature of matter. We've built our entire technological civilization on the fact that matter is made of probability waves and field excitations, not solid stuff. But the philosophical implications are staggering. If you are made of quantum fields, if particles are just excitations of abstract mathematical structures, then what does it mean to be you? Where does your identity reside? Where is the boundary between you and the rest of the universe? In classical physics, you could imagine yourself as a collection of particles with definite positions and properties. Your particles were different from my particles. There was a clear distinction between self and environment. But in quantum field theory, all electrons are identical. Not similar, identical. There is no way, even in principle, to distinguish one electron from another. The electron in your brain and the electron in a star on the other side of the galaxy are literally the same particle in different excitation states of the same field. This leads to what physicists call the indissolubility of particles. All electrons share the same quantum field. All quarks of the same type are indistinguishable excitations of the same quark field. In a very real sense, there is only one electron field in the universe, and all the individual electrons you think of as separate particles are just different vibrations in that single field. You are not a collection of your own personal particles. A temporary pattern in fields that extend throughout the entire universe. Your atoms are constantly being exchanged with the environment. The air you breathe, the food you eat, the water you drink, they become part of your body, and the atoms that were part of your body are constantly being released back to the environment. In 7 years, almost every atom in your body will have been replaced, but it's worse than that. Even the concept of replacement doesn't make sense because the atoms were never yours to begin with. They're excitations in universal fields. There's no ownership, no individuality at the particle level. You are a pattern that persists even as the underlying substrate continuously changes, like a wave that maintains its shape as different water molecules move through it. And this pattern, this temporary organization of field excitations that you experience as your body and mind, it's incredibly fragile. Quantum decoherence is constantly eroding the quantum coherence that maintains your structure. Your body is in a constant battle against entropy, constantly expending energy to maintain the pattern that is you against the tendency of quantum systems to spread out, to lose definition, to dissolve back into the quantum foam. Every second, thousands of cosmic rays pass through your body. High energy particles from distant supernovas slam into the atoms in your cells, disrupting the quantum states, breaking molecular bonds, damaging DNA. Your cells have evolved elaborate repair mechanisms, but they're fighting a losing battle against the quantum chaos of the universe. You are a temporary island of organization in an ocean of quantum noise. But here's the truly mind-bending part. Consciousness itself might be a quantum phenomenon. Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff have proposed that consciousness arises from quantum computations in microtubules inside neurons. If they're right, then your thoughts, your experiences, your sense of self are quantum mechanical processes. Your consciousness is literally made of the same probability waves and field excitations as everything else in the universe. Think about what this means. Your thoughts are not produced by solid brain matter. They're patterns in quantum fields. Your memories are not stored in material structures. They're encoded in the quantum states of particles that don't have definite properties until they're measured. Your sense of identity, your feeling of being a continuous self persisting through time, that might be a quantum mechanical phenomenon involving particles that exist in superposition states across multiple realities. And if consciousness is quantum mechanical, then the act of observation, the collapse of the quantum wave function, might require conscious awareness. This leads to the astonishing possibility that consciousness and physical reality are fundamentally intertwined. Just made of quantum fields. You are the quantum fields becoming aware of themselves. This brings us to the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. Before measurement, quantum systems exist in superposition states, multiple realities simultaneously. The electron is spinning clockwise and counterclockwise at the same time. The particle is here and there simultaneously. Only when a measurement occurs does the wave function collapse into a definite state. But what constitutes a measurement? When does the collapse happen? Some interpretations of quantum mechanics suggest that consciousness is required. The universe exists in a superposition of all possible states until a conscious observer forces reality to choose definite configuration. In this view, consciousness is not just made of quantum fields. It's what makes quantum fields collapse into classical reality. You are not just made of nothing, or the nothing becoming something through the act of awareness. You are the universe observing itself into existence. Let me take this even further. In quantum field theory, the vacuum state, empty space, is not actually empty. It's filled with quantum fluctuations, virtual particles constantly popping in and out of existence. The vacuum is a seething foam of potential particles that exist for infinitesimally short periods before annihilating back into nothingness. These virtual particles are not just theoretical abstractions. They have measurable effects. The Casimir effect shows that virtual particles exert real forces between parallel conducting plates. Quantum field fluctuations contribute to the anomalous magnetic moment of the electron, calculated and measured to 12 decimal places. The nothing is demonstrably something, and the something emerges from nothing. Your body is made of particles that emerged from quantum vacuum fluctuations in the early universe. During inflation, quantum fluctuations were stretched to cosmic scales, becoming the density variations that eventually collapsed to form galaxies, stars, planets, and ultimately you, made of amplified vacuum fluctuations. The nothing that became something that became you. And when you die, when the pattern, that is, you can no longer maintain itself against entropy and decoherence, where do you go? Your atoms return to the environment, but they were never really yours. The quantum fields continue to exist, but the specific excitation pattern that was you dissolves. Yet something persists, information. The pattern that was you becomes part of the quantum information content of the universe. In the holographic principle, all the information in a volume of space can be encoded on its boundary. Your entire body, all the information that defines you, could theoretically be encoded on a two-dimensional surface. You might already be a holographic projection, a two-dimensional pattern of information that appears three-dimensional from the inside. Stephen Hawking showed that black holes have entropy proportional to their surface area, not their volume. This suggests that information, not matter, is the fundamental reality. The particles that make up your body are information. The fields that give rise to those particles are information. The quantum states that define your existence are information. You are not made of stuff. You are made of information processing itself. But what is information without a substrate to encode it? What is a pattern without a medium to hold the pattern? This is where physics reaches its current limits. We can describe mathematically how quantum fields give rise to particles, how particles form atoms, how atoms form molecules, how molecules form cells, how cells form bodies, how bodies give rise to consciousness. But we cannot explain why any of it exists at all. The deepest question is not what you are made of. You are made of mathematical structures. Quantum fields Probability distributions, information patterns. The deepest question is why there is something rather than nothing at all. Why do quantum fields exist? Why is there a universe for these patterns to play out in? Why is there anything instead of the absolute void? And here we reach the edge of physics and enter the realm of pure speculation. Some theories suggest that existence itself might be necessary, that nothingness is unstable, that something must exist because nothing cannot exist. Other theories propose that we live in one bubble of a vast multiverse where all possible mathematical structures are instantiated somewhere. But perhaps the most profound answer is this universe becoming conscious of its own mathematical nature. You are the pattern that allows the cosmos to know itself. In your awareness of your own quantum mechanical nature, the universe achieves self-knowledge. The nothing that became something becomes aware of being nothing that became something. You are not made of matter, you are made of relationships, interactions, information. Probability, you are a temporary fluctuation in quantum fields that exist in abstract mathematical spaces. You are a pattern of pure information that has somehow become conscious of its own existence. You are the universe's way of looking at itself. And when you really understand this, when you truly grasp that your solid reality is made of nothing but probability waves in abstract mathematical spaces, you realize something profound. The boundary between you and everything else is arbitrary. The quantum fields that make up your body extend throughout the universe. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos, organized into a pattern that can think and feel and wonder about its own nature. You are made of nothing. But the nothing is everything. And in that paradox lies the deepest mystery of existence itself. The nothing that is everything that became conscious of being nothing that is everything, that's what you are, that's what we all are. Temporary patterns in the infinite field of possibility, briefly awakening to contemplate our own impossible existence.